And I want to encourage you guys, if you want this process, if you want this connection with God, ask God about truth, the truth about, and want it from your heart, you know, because in the course of those few days, a lot of truth became known to me. And it wasn't just that I'd cheated on AJ once in the sleep state. It was that for most of my life, since adolescence in this life, I have been involved in a lot of sexually immoral and deviant things in the sleep state, with a lot of different people, with a lot of different spirits, and with people in spirit form. And yeah, and I want to talk a bit more about that. So I found that the truth was that because of my feelings of powerlessness, and rebellion at a sense of powerlessness, that I've been involved in a lot of sexual practices that involve me having power over other people and feeling very powerful. The second thing was in rebellion to my shame, that I have wanted to almost become shameless and to be as to present, to rebel against my shame so much that nothing would shame me. And so I would be involved in all kinds of things that many people would find quite shameful and immoral. And the third thing was the rebellion against the huge feelings of loss that are inside of me about losing my soulmate, and my anger about love, specifically about romantic love between soulmates. Because of the level of pain that I have inside of me about the loss of that love, I feel really angry at God about love, and I also feel that love isn't possible. You know, when I met AJ, I used to make fun of romantic movies. I'd be like, oh yeah, whatever, in Hollywood. That was my feeling. It's not possible between people. It's not possible to be happy. There's always going to be pain. There's always going to be compromise. There's always going to be tough. And I was really angry to the point where I was sarcastic and bitter about the concept of romantic love. Now, understand that a lot of that comes from the feelings of pain that I'm avoiding inside of myself. And many of you have this same feeling towards romantic love, that your facade self wants to believe that it's a truth, but inside the damage is saying, no, F that, that's not real. And I'm really hurting that that's not real. I'm really hurting that I feel like that's not possible for me anymore. So because of these emotions that I've been, so the anger about love, the rebellion against my shame, and the rebellion against a sense of powerlessness, especially sexual powerlessness, I've been engaged in a lot of sexual practices that are either to do with me having power and feeling shameless, and actually more recently with people actually abusing me sexually because I feel so bad, and a lot of self-judgment about myself. So I've been a willing participant in people actually harming me and hurting me sexually. So that's been happening for a good 15 years. And in the past it's probably intensified because my sense of rebellion against these things has increased as my facade has been challenged. So and also as I met AJ, my anger about love and about the loss of him became directed at him. And I wanted to punish him sexually because that is something that does really hurt him. That I've been wanting to punish him through these practices, so it's actually gotten worse. And my shame has been more triggered, and my sense of powerlessness, both in terms of fear, but also in terms of this inexplicable attraction and not being able to control the course of my life because of what my soul wants to do, not my head. They've all increased, and so the rebellion and these practices have really increased. Is there any questions? Sheridan, just there, Pierre.
Was AJ aware of what was going on in the sleep state for most of that?
Okay, so we had talked on a number of occasions. He had had that feeling before, and I have pretty intense dreams as well. Some of which I now feel are sleep state experiences, and some of them are dreams. So often I would have sexualized dreams with other people, and we would talk about that in the morning. And AJ has long had the feeling that I've been doing these sorts of things, but because I'm so addicted to my facade, I really wouldn't even consider that because it's abhorrent to me. When I asked for God for the biggest truth, and I got this, and I had to feel it as a truth. It wasn't just a concept outside of me. I really felt like this is my worst possible nightmare, that I'm actually this kind of person because of the amount of judgment that I have, and that's an issue in itself. So yes, AJ was aware, and in fact, early in our relationship, I was still, even though I was drawn to this man, I'd been in a relationship with a man who was basically sexually shameless. He'd been involved in a lot of threesomes and with prostitutes, and had a lot of sex with a lot of people in quite immoral ways oftentimes. And even though my facade would say I'm not attracted to that kind of man, I was very attracted to him, and for a lot of reasons, because he helped me avoid my shame. He also was prone really to violence, even if it was just emotional violence, and because of my sexual terror, even though my facade would say I'm a pacifist, I want to be with a pacifist, I was really attracted to a guy who I thought would physically harm somebody else if I was sexually threatened. He had a strong sense of sexual ownership over me, and so even while I had engaged in the relationship with AJ, I was really still engaged in a relationship with this man. I was still attracted to him. We still had contact via the internet, and I feel we had relationship in the sleep state as well now. So AJ could feel all of that going on at the time, and AJ said he's happy to talk about some of his feelings about this as well afterwards, if you like. Yeah.
Thank you.
Nat?
Mary, just listening to you talk about the actions that you take because of these emotions of powerlessness and your desire to rebel, is it like then our way of controlling, avoiding the damaged self as well in the sleep state?
Totally. So the facade is here to control the damage.
When we're awake.
The emotion. And remember I said at the beginning, whenever my facade is challenged and I feel a little bit of the damage, anger ensues because I want the control back. And when we go into the sleep state, the anger's still there. The anger is what we're acting out in. Unless we're willing to be humble to the damage in the awake state, it's very unlikely we're going to be humble to it in the sleep state.
Okay. Yeah. And I just have one more question. I mean, with the third emotion that you've listed, loss,
yep.
Obviously you have a first century life, none of us have, but I can relate to anger about love.
That's what I say. I feel many people here have that
Can
feeling.
you give me an example then of behaviour that we could potentially enact in and ensue in because of this anger about love? Like, I felt that you really explained your loss and your anger about love because of the loss.
So, okay. So I'm angry about loss and I'm angry about love. So I want to prove that love isn't possible in my sleep state. So in a relationship, I want to prove to you, no, love isn't possible. See? This is what's happening. This is what I can do. And many of you women have this feeling and wanting the men to prove that he loves us while we really act out is a part of the anger. It's not a loving state. We're not being open and humble and willing to give and share. We're like, no, you prove to me because I've been hurt before. And so in the sleep state, we can do all kinds of things, sexual or otherwise, to a soulmate or a partner in that emotion.
Okay.
Is that answer your question?
Yeah, thanks.
Barbara down here. Yeah.